This episode is brought to you by Relive Health, a modern wellness clinic helping you look and feel your best from the inside out. From peptides and hormone optimization to vitamin therapy, their team makes proactive health simple and approachable. Visit Relive Gaithersburg to start your personalized wellness journey today.
A lot of people I know that have succeeded, the ones that, last the longest and have the best success are the ones that are the most humble and the ones that are willing to listen to other people's ideas. Maybe I do need to bring in that consultant, or I do need to bring in that executive coach or that co-CEO, or hire a great COO or someone that's going to help me achieve the goal that I want for the company.
Yeah.
Versus I need to maintain and control power and wield it from the position of authority so that no one can potentially undermine me or take away from me.
Welcome to Married to the Startup. I'm Alicia McKenzie, a wellness entrepreneur and digital creator. Alongside me is my amazing husband, George, the CEO who's always ready for a new challenge. We've been navigating marriage and running startups for over a decade, and we're here to share the real, unfiltered journey with you. Join us for insights and candid conversations about integrating love, family, and entrepreneurship. This is Married to the Startup, where every day is a new adventure. Welcome to episode 53 of Married to the Startup. I'm your host, Alicia McKenzie.
And I am the co-host, George McKenzie.
First, let's talk about the challenge or the, I guess it was like a test for our kids at the dinner table the other night about Christmas.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a good exercise. Unfortunately, it didn't work out the way we had
It didn't
thought,
work
but
out.
it was the thought behind it was really good.
So I saw on TikTok
TikTok taught me.
there was a mom who was driving her daughter, and she was like, name 4 things that you got for Christmas last year. And she could not think of anything. And her daughter, I would say maybe was probably like 15, 16 years old. Could not think of a single thing that she got for Christmas. And then she was like, name one place we went on vacation. And the daughter was like, Lake Tahoe.
Right.
Right. So the meaning behind this was that children value experiences more than they do material things.
Yeah, I think that's probably true for humans in general versus just narrowing it to children. But I thought it was interesting because that was my take. And like, oh, our kids are not going to remember what they got for Christmas and then from a vacation perspective, we've had so many amazing experiences
Yeah.
over the 2025. So it was a good experiment.
But we were sitting at the dinner table and I'm like, all right, kids.
And I think you started with did you start with Maddox or with?
I think I started with Michaela, and
Okay.
she's like, oh, I've seen this before. And I don't know how. She doesn't have TikTok. She doesn't have social media, but I'm sure her friends do. But she was like, I've seen this before. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And she immediately knew the answer.
Yes. And she was able to tell me 4 things that she got for Christmas.
Yeah. I thought the one, because I'm in the whole era of Sephora kids, she was able to say that she got Sephora and then explained what was in the bag. Like, oh, it was this and it was that and it was this and it was a bar of that and it was a stick of this. And you're like, holy shit.
So she knew what she got. And then the 2 boys have not. They didn't have the pre-knowledge that she had. Right? They weren't prepped for this. So I was like, Maddox, name 4 things that you got for Christmas last year. And he was able to tell me.
Yeah, 4 distinct items.
With detail.
Yeah.
4 items that he got for Christmas. And then we went to Meteoric, and he was able to tell me 4 items that he got for Christmas, which mind blown, because our children literally want for nothing. If they have 1 of something, they have 6 of something.
Yeah, and I think Christmases are always hard because there's no big gift of the year, something they've been pining over or really, really want. It's kind of just up to us to come up with things. They write Christmas lists which are like completely bogus every year.
But then I was like, all right, let's name a vacation that we went on. The first thing everybody said, they're like, the Disney cruise.
Disney cruise.
Right? Maverick was like, oh, we went to Hershey Park.
Yeah.
They were able to name multiples of the vacations that they went on this year. So basically our kids helped us not at all.
Exactly.
When it comes to our plan for Christmas. We still don't. We were supposed to go somewhere, but the house was messed up in the hurricane, so it has to go under renovation, and we cannot go to said house anymore.
Yeah, so it was a little late in the game to try to find a house that would accommodate 9 people.
Yeah, we travel heavy.
Yeah. Oh, well. I think we'll have Christmas, and our kids are spoiled in that way. They want to wake up in this house next to their he's very adamant. I want it to be next to the tree, to be right there next to the fireplace, next to this couch, sitting right there. I'm going to sit right there. And that's where I'm opening my presents on Christmas morning.
He was very specific, and we were going to try to do Christmas super early, like a 7 a.m. Christmas, and then make a 1 p.m. flight to head to where we were going to go. But sadly, that's not going to happen anymore. Am I boring you?
I don't know. I'm tired. Stranger Things kept me up last night.
It did not keep me.
I know, you fell asleep immediately, just like you always do.
So, like, stop, because beds are meant for sleeping, right? Like, you go to bed.
They're meant for a lot of things. Sleeping as well.
When you go to bed, it simulates bedtime.
For some people, yes.
Right? And then as soon as my head hits the pillow,
you are out like a light.
I am out. So anytime you're like, oh, let's watch a movie in bed, I'm like, all right, I know I won't be watching the movie.
Exactly. Yeah, I watched it to completion.
Okay, but anyways, my philosophy for Christmas is always something you want, something you need, something you wear, and something you read. Right? Like, those are the 4 core things so my kids always get a book, they always get pajamas, they always get something that they really, really want, and then something that they need, right? Like tennis shoes or underwear or some bullshit. But your philosophy for Christmas is way different than mine. And this is kind of where we butt heads.
Yeah, my philosophy is about volume, not necessarily into categories. And they don't have to be big gifts. Just there needs to be a bounty under the tree.
Why?
Because
you need to work this out with your therapist, because it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot of things that are unnecessary in my life. This one is probably not of the top of the list.
No, because like our kids remember the things.
But they remember the things they got.
That they wanted. They don't remember the bullshit that you got from CVS the night before because you thought there wasn't enough stuff under the tree.
I think it's Walmart. I don't think I've ever gone to CVS to buy stuff. But I have done a late night Walmart trip. I will concede on that one.
Yes. So we are 2 polar opposites when it comes to Christmas. I would prefer, but I mean, now if you do 4 times 5, that's 20. There's automatically going to be 20 gifts under the tree.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
I guess so.
And then you throw.
So you made up for volume by children versus presents?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
You throw in Fitzgerald and Huck and Olive.
Okay.
So 4 times 8.
We'll see.
Then you've got Grandma. There's at least 30 presents under the tree every year.
Yeah.
Do you need a nap?
I may. I don't know what's going on.
Or a shot of espresso?
Maybe I didn't have enough coffee this morning. I don't know.
Okay. That was our little tangent. But actually today I want to talk about
speaking of travel.
Yeah, speaking of travel. Good segue.
Blends right in. Yeah.
Good segue. When we were in Europe in 2019, we did was it 2019?
It was 2019.
It was 2019. It was
2019. Yeah. And we had planned. It was you, but I thought it was we had spent a lot of time planning the trip, from the locations we were in. We had a budget, and we were sticking to a budget, and it was really good, and planned all the multiple legs of the trip. And then we even thought in advance about travel and packing. So we were like, oh, here's the packing list. We're going to make them for the kids first. And we bought these big luxury.
Well, first, how long were we going for?
6 weeks, 5.5 to
yeah,
6.
6 weeks.
And we decided we were going to get these travel luggage from Toomey. And we were getting, I think they were the cruise series. Worldwide series. So, and they're like, hey, we get a couple of the big suitcases. We can put 2 people in each one, so we have less suitcases to travel with.
Big mistake.
We still ended up with 1 suitcase per person, to include the 2 big ones. Okay, carry on.
It was terrible. So first off, we're at the airport, and this massive worldwide $1,000 Toomey suitcase weighed in at 88 pounds.
I think it weighs 10 pounds by itself.
Holy shit, weighed in at 88 pounds. And she was like, all right, you can either take some stuff out, 80 pounds is our limit, or you can pay the fee.
No, I don't think it was a pay the fee. I think they were saying 88.
No, it was pay the fee, and the fee was $800.
Oh, okay.
She's like, if you don't take it out and get it below 70 pounds,
80 pounds.
80 pounds, it'll be $800 to send that extra 8 pounds.
Aye.
I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
So, needless to say, we are just taking stuff.
It was a lot of baby
massive
stuff, a lot of
suitcase.
diapers and other things that we just took out and shoved in kids' backpacks
In
or just threw it away.
hindsight, like, we should have just bought diapers when we got to Europe.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think about this, but I guess it was Maverick was still little, right? He was like maybe 18 months old.
Yeah.
If that. So I was like, no, he needs his
It was a
diapers.
classic overpacking situation.
It was complete overpacking. It was egregious. So needless to say, like, we had to take a bunch of shit out. We get over to Europe and we have 7 massive suitcases, and Europe is not travel friendly. It's not.
It's travel friendly. It's not
a
large
Alicia.
family. Yeah, Alicia bring a lot of stuff with you travel.
Right.
To include like the hotel rooms for families aren't that big, and there's only one family room per floor.
Yeah.
And yeah, the vans that they pick you up in aren't like the size of U.S. vehicles. So it was a learning experience for everyone. And what we found out by the second phase of that trip when we went on the train ride, so car ride to train ride, was getting all that fucking luggage off the train and my wife and mother-in-law and kids off the train and wheeling those fucking bags through the streets was a recipe for disaster.
It was terrible. So we ended up buying.
Yeah, I think after the 2 days into the trip, we decided, or it was a week, maybe a weekend.
I think we made it a week.
And we decided, one, we packed way too much fucking clothes. Because the only clothes we were able to get away, it was hot as shit in summer in Europe that year. It was like the heat wave of all heat waves.
Yes.
And what we realized is there's no real washer dryer situation in any of these Airbnbs we were staying at. So hang dry was the only solution.
Yes.
And when you look at your wardrobe with that requirement, there's a lot that doesn't meet it. So you decide, okay, all of that we're shipping back.
So we took the 2 massive worldwide suitcases. We shoved them full of clothes that we could not wear or did not have the desire to hang dry. And we sent those back to the States. Meanwhile, somebody had told me about this company and it was popping up everywhere. And it was the Away suitcase. Right. Someone had told us about it. I had seen a bunch of influencers using it. This was right around the rise of Instagram
Warby Parker
influencing, and Warby Parker.
Huge.
Yeah. So Away suitcases was your first direct to consumer suitcase brand.
And I think
was not obnoxiously expensive.
Yeah, and was marketed they were the tip of the spear when it came to that sort of marketing of like direct to consumer, hit the socials, like really get out there and use the influencer marketing stream.
Yeah, but talking about Away, the workplace has been said to have been incredibly toxic.
Yeah.
Led by a woman who was not the nicest person and who dealt with her fair share of controversy and scandal when it comes to how she treated her employees. So we thought that this was a really good company to dissect.
Yeah, to jump in to talk about it a little bit.
And the first thing that I want to say is that I first saw Away on social media. Mm-hmm. Right. And it was the first real brand that focused on the aesthetic, right? They're calling Away the millennial luggage.
Right.
And it was geared to me, to women who travel a lot, but don't want to pay too many prices, but also don't want to have to buy a new suitcase every year because you're getting like a $50 Target bag and it's going to fall apart in the airport and your shit's going to be all over the floor and it's just going to be a disaster. Right. That's where this whole thing started. The CEO, oh my gosh, what's her name? Jen Rubio. Right. So she's racing through the airport and her suitcase basically falls apart.
She's the CEO now.
No, she was CEO.
Okay.
She was the founding CEO.
Okay.
Suitcase falls apart. Her stuff's all over the floor. And she's just, I'm sure as you can imagine, incredibly pissed.
Right.
And she's looking for a suitcase that is in that middle section, right? It's pretty, it's affordable, it's functional, it's bulletproof. And something that was really novel was that they threw in a lithium battery charger to charge your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sold as the little black dress of suitcases. Right?
Yeah, it was very
Functional.
Yeah. And I think it was brilliant marketing, right? Like, hey, the millennial is becoming a bigger component of the marketplace. And if you look at travel, they're probably even higher because they're the generation that really likes to travel and is less likely to, settle down like at that point in time. And you look at, okay, here's our target market and we've identified it. And now we know, okay, what are the, purchase decisions of this target market? And it was really around women buy this luggage more than men. So let's focus on women, the little black dress analogy, and we want something that is lightweight and bulletproof.
Yes. So you have Jen Rubio, and she was doing, so the two founders, Jen Rubio, Steph Corey, they had originally worked together at Warby Parker.
Right. So they had working knowledge of this direct to consumer marketplace.
But not only that, Jen Rubio did the social media for Warby Parker. So she had that knowledge and that background of how do I make my product a commodity, right? And how do I get it into the hands of these influential women that are driving
and really
into the market?
Yeah, and I mean they came from a company in which was a market disruptor, right? You took the eyeglass industry, which was still is dominated for the most part by a couple manufacturers, and most of the brands that you would go to Sunglass Hut to buy, they're all the same fucking company. It's just different brands, but it's all the same thing.
Absolutely.
And
same product with a different brand slot.
Yeah. And the cost to produce is minuscule to what you're paying for it. So they looked at that and said, hey, if we produced a similar product using the similar methods with an incredible margin, we could charge a lot less and still be incredibly profitable.
Absolutely. And Steph Corey had the operations knowledge from Warby Parker.
Right. So she understood the manufacturing process, understood who to reach out to in China to get these things built.
So
how do we get them?
These two women and you put them together. And I mean, that's a recipe for an away success.
What happened? Yeah. And it was a runaway success. But no. Anyway.
No.
So they went out to raise money, right? Because they obviously needed a little money to make, the manufacturing round.
Yeah, but they raised $150,000 from friends and family.
Okay.
Right? Friends and family round, nice and easy. Started, they took their blueprints, went to production, but they could not produce the bags as quickly as they wanted.
Right. Okay.
Right. So they couldn't get them.
I think that's a big lesson for founders too. You see a lot of people that have unrealistic expectations for a friends and family round.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, I need to raise $2 million pre-money or $2 million pre-seed family. Like that's just a lot, and you can't take salary.
Yeah.
In a friends and family round, like you're working.
Can we talk about the people who try to take a salary?
I know, that's what I just think you're like, wow. Yeah, I mean, you're investing your time and the payout is going to be the equity value.
Yes.
Not a salary.
Not a salary. You don't get to pull salary out of my friends and family round. The second I see that on the line item, like.
Yeah, that's
recipe. It doesn't fly.
Recipe for disaster.
Recipe for disaster.
Go ahead.
But anyways, the product wasn't ready. They wanted to launch Christmas of 2015. They could not do it.
Right.
So they got creative.
Mm-hmm.
And they developed a book called The Places We Return to. And it was a coffee table book, right? It was beautiful. Photography, the places you want to visit. And with that book, they had a gift card towards the purchase of an away suitcase.
Okay.
Right. And I think their original.
So were they selling these books?
They were selling these books.
Okay.
Right. So they sold these coffee table books with a gift card for purchasing a suitcase. And their original suitcase was $250. I think it was.
Okay. So they're selling the book.
The carry-on.
The book for $250, which included the suitcase.
I don't know the exact price.
But something like that.
It was something like that.
Okay. I mean, it's a brilliant marketing plan, right? You're like, it's basically getting the suitcase, but delayed satisfaction because you have to wait for it. But in the meantime, you get this awesome book.
You get this beautiful coffee table book and then got it in the hands of 40 travel influencers.
Okay.
Right. So you take a book like that, you throw it on social media with people who have 1 to 5 million followers and travel influencers, and they blew up. Right. So they generated $450,000 of pre-orders prior to even getting a suitcase in anybody's hand.
Nice.
All right. And those suitcases started delivering in early 2016.
Okay.
right? Then they went on to raise 2.5 million in additional funding to help spur up production.
And a seed round for mainly production, right?
Yes.
To meet demand.
Yes. But
so imagine, I mean, it's like cogs heavy, right? Because you have to pay the manufacturer to ship it. You have to get the materials.
Part of me wants to start a direct consumer goods like company just so I can see the innards of it.
Oh, how about we just find someone who wants to be a guest of the pod that has that?
No, because I
and then we can
myself.
and we can get involved.
That's like
No,
I
companies are not learning experiences, right?
Why not?
Because that's it's a recipe for losing money.
It's not.
You
You start
definitely
a company, we figure out how to grow it, and then we sell it.
All right.
But
Or you can just be a part of a company that already exists and learn the ropes.
Anyways, so they made $12 million in sales in their first year, 2016.
Right. It's great.
That's huge.
Yeah. It's a lot of luggage at, $250 to $500 a pop.
And then they were profitable by the end of 2017.
Okay.
And then they made $150 million in 2018.
Yep. All things going well.
And then in 2019, they got a $1.4 billion valuation.
On $150 million of revenue?
Yes. Right? They had to expand into that, which seems...
Yeah, so 10x revenue.
Right off the bat, like...
It's just a big valuation for a
that seems
consumer product market. And I guess, especially if you're making really good luggage.
Yeah.
Like, how often does a person need a new away bag?
Exactly.
Like, how do you keep selling to the same customer?
But not only that, there were other companies that were entering the market, right? You had Bays, which is BEIS. That company, Ava owns one of those.
Okay.
That's the bag that like zips and has the shoes underneath, and then you also had
once you've proven a market, right, and you're like, hey, this segment of the market exists, other people will follow.
Yeah, there were other like great state bags. That's another one. Our children own those. Right. Those were geared towards kids, and they have the backpacks and all that stuff. Right. So a $1.4 billion valuation just seems slightly aggressive.
Yeah. Well,
just a little aggressive.
It's worth what people are willing to pay.
But what they weren't expecting, what happened in 2020?
Yeah. COVID. But didn't they have wasn't the CEO issues prior to that?
There was, yeah. There were other issues prior to that. Like the first one was in 2017 when FAA outlawed lithium batteries on the planes.
Right. So then they had to quickly develop a kit to get the battery out.
Yes. Right. But that was their differentiator.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oh, look at our bag. It has a charger built right into it. Okay, now it doesn't. Now it's just a suitcase like everybody else's. Yeah. What's your differentiator now? Mm-hmm. Right. So they had that problem. But then they had the toxic workplace.
Yeah. This is the one that I think it's the most interesting to me.
Yes. So there was an article written and it was titled Emotional Baggage.
Ha! Love it.
And it was basically exposing the CEO of unrealistic employee expectations.
Yeah, and I think if you counter that with like how Elon Musk addresses employees today, it's not so different. No, with his like, hey, I sleep on the floor. Everyone should be working just as hard as me. And,
yes.
Vacations are optional, not required, and you need to, the whole Doge thing, right? Like, I think a lot of people are on that kick now too, and I think it can work in an early stage startup, but I think it doesn't last very long.
No.
In that zeal where you expect, and you see it in job postings too, where people are like, hey, if you're looking for 9 to 5, 40-hour a week, this is not the role for you. And like just expecting people to work 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week.
I just saw something recently now that Gen Z is entering the workforce, how they're working less and making more money because they've got such solid boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that eventually plays out, but
I think AI is going to help.
Of course, they've got
get more work. They're going to be better at and more efficient at getting stuff done.
For sure.
Anyway, let's go ahead.
14 employees went on the record, mostly anonymous, exposing an environment of intimidation, constant surveillance. And did we forget to mention that the CEO was married to the inventor of Slack?
Was it Slack?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
It was Slack.
Okay.
So within this company, you were not allowed to email each other. You had to use Slack.
Oh, okay.
You
That's
had to
fine.
use Slack, and then you could not direct message an employee unless it was something about like, oh, maybe let's go grab lunch, right?
Okay.
It
You
can't
couldn't
be,
use it for work.
you could,
All work stuff had to be probably because of the settings. They weren't saving chats, but they were saving all the channels.
maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. She was pushing her husband's product.
Right.
But
And this was framed as transparency and inclusion, but in reality, she was using it to see who was actually working when and
mhm.
was using it as a way to.
Monitor employees,
Yeah.
right? And monitor communications.
Yep.
I mean, email people, you can do the same thing
Yes.
with email, and it happens a lot. But Slack was better at, okay, are you actively logged in? Are you unavailable, available? Did it show you busy? Right. And then I think there was something in there where there was a group of underrepresented employees that, you know, created what they thought was a hidden channel
Yes.
to complain about their bosses and also commiserate. And then, lo and behold, that was not a private channel.
It was not a private channel. It
And they
was
fired like 6 of them.
and
Yeah.
they fired 6 people.
Right.
Yes. And which was really funny because one of the women, I think it was a woman, one of the people that they fired was a person of color. And they accused her of being racist.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there was probably inappropriate comments about whatever race, gender that they felt was, overrepresented in the company that was probably being,
Probably. I'm sure people said things.
people said things, and I think
People say
that's a
things.
great thing. You should realize as employees entering the workforce. If you're using, your corporate communication channels, you better believe they're looking at that.
Absolutely.
So don't say shit.
None of it's private.
Yeah,
None
don't
of
say
it's
it. Don't
private.
say it. Use the text messages to your friends if you want to say inappropriate things.
Right? Do you remember like
Or use the fucking phone. Just call.
But do you remember like we'll be in meetings. I remember this like clear as day. Like I'll text you something and then I'll look at you.
Yeah. I still do that.
Right? It's like, is
Yeah.
this fucking guy serious?
Yeah. Don't use Slack or anything to say,
No.
because those things will always come back to bite you.
Especially if you're gonna talk shit.
Yeah.
If you
Email,
can't do it
chat,
properly.
all that shit will come back to haunt you.
Yes. So, all of this employee intimidation, very toxic workplace.
Yeah. And then I think she was openly like calling people, mindless and
brain dead.
brain dead, publicly berating people, like
Yes, if you made a
in town
mistake.
halls. She would call you out, like, and I think that, for me, corporate culture and the workplace culture is always super important. And I think it's undervalued in a lot of startups, and it's undervalued even in big businesses, because
Yeah.
at that point, you become a tribe of tribes. And if you don't have a good, positive culture in the beginning, and you don't set the tone as a leadership team and with your direct reports of what it is expected and why people would work for more than just the paycheck, then you're never going to be able to institute it later. So you have to have it right off the bat of, what do you stand for? What's your culture? What do you want everybody to be and to represent? And then as you get bigger, you can only have a tribe of, up to maybe 100, 150 people. And then, you need new leaders.
Mm-hmm.
So then you become a tribe of tribes. And if you don't have a strong enough culture to permeate that second layer,
Yeah.
then it'll all fall apart. But apparently her culture was bad from the beginning.
Her culture was bad from the beginning. But one thing I always go back to is that when you were running DPS,
Mm-hmm.
everybody wanted to be a part of that community, right? Like working late, you would hold overnight hackathons.
Yeah, I think it was, we tapped into something kind of rare. We just created a culture, around passion for what we did.
Yeah.
One, and I think most of us embodied it, but it was also, we were in the right time, right place, and it kind of created where cybersecurity was, burgeoning out of a lot of these bigger IT companies
Mm-hmm.
to being just cyber services. So you ended up with a lot of really smart people that didn't feel like they belonged in the IT crowd. They didn't really belong in this crowd. So we created a kind of a community, a place that they felt,
Nerds.
and we did. And we labeled it capital C community because it was, a noun. It was our community. It was our community. It was a formal thing. And, everyone, embodied it. And people were not, upset to work longer hours because they believed and they felt appreciated.
Yeah. Like,
And I think when you, like what she was saying, is expect you to work these long hours at the same time, I'm going to criticize you in public.
Yeah.
And, the lashings will continue until morale improves. Like, it's like one of those kind of memes. It was, you're not going to get the result you're looking for. She wanted dedication and people to work long hours and be, committed. But at the same time, you're berating them.
Exactly. Like, if you're going to treat me like shit, I'm just going to work.
Or find another job, right?
Or
It's
you have to
just,
find
yeah,
another job.
but that's something that I think as leaders, you got to, understand that going in.
Yeah. And
What kind of culture you're trying to build. And I don't know. I mean, some of it could have been her being a woman, an underrepresented community and a woman, and in probably a male-dominated industry, and taking capital from probably private equity groups or VC groups that are probably mostly male-oriented.
Yeah.
And they were probably pushing
Maybe
her.
feeling like she had something to prove.
Yeah, she had something to prove, and I worked this fucking hard. Why isn't everybody else?
Yeah.
And it's because you have tons of fucking equity and no one else does. So, yeah, you should be working harder than everybody else.
Yes.
That's just because you have more to gain.
Yeah. Definitely.
And more to lose.
But eventually it got so bad that she resigned, right?
You're right.
And
Okay.
they brought in the COO, the former CEO of Lululemon,
Okay.
to be the CEO of Away.
Okay.
But then she came back.
Oh, changed my mind. No, thanks. I'm not leaving.
Kidding. I don't want to leave. And she bowed out due to pressure. And her heart wasn't in leaving, and so on and so forth. And she claimed that The Verge is reporting, so that's the article, the piece that outed her. She said it was inaccurate, and she wanted to sue for slander and all these things, hired defamation lawyers.
Hey.
Right. But
I guess she must have had enough votes to keep her in at that point, because it must have been good on her that she structured it with taking on the equity, that she still maintained control of the board.
Yeah.
So she couldn't get voted out.
But then 2020 happens.
Yeah, when the travel bans happen and no one's flying or traveling anywhere and you're quarantining in your home, I imagine luggage isn't the top of priorities for people.
But not only that, 2020 happened, but she also was on maternity leave, right? So as a female who has given birth 5 times and gone through the postpartum phase 5 times, you were so fucking irrational.
Yes.
Nothing is logical. It's all hard. You're leaking out of every place you could possibly leak out of. You've got something that is clinging to you 24 hours a day, and then you're trying to run this company through the biggest rift in the travel world that they've ever experienced.
Right.
Sales have dropped 90%. I guess she went on social media and went on a little tirade and
then sent emails at like 3 a.m. or something.
Yeah, just all bad things.
All right, so it all went to hell in a handbasket, and she stepped down officially.
She stepped down officially, and she left by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the founder, they brought in another CEO, and the revenue went from 150 million to 135 million, which doesn't seem like that big of a drop.
10%.
What we were going through.
10% decrease, right?
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Maybe.
20%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, nobody was traveling.
Yeah.
And they tried to get innovative and come up with different products, but
No, I think they're still in that phase today. But I think that's the commonality of when you're on this rocket ship, right? And it's like we were just talking like the Silicon Valley, like, oh, no revenue. You don't want any revenue. Once you have revenue, then, whatever revenue number you have, it's never enough. And they always want more. And the valuation will be on revenue, not on pre-revenue, which could be anything.
yeah.
And I think it's a stupid, thing. But like the investors that came in that valued this company at 1.4 billion, like they want 20 to 50% year over year top line growth. And they want revenue because they're betting on your future. They're not, the 4 billion valuation wasn't on the 150 million in sales. It was on the potential to be 500 million in sales.
Yes.
To whatever in sales. And when you aren't growing 20% to 50% year over year, it's incredibly difficult to go to the number that they valued you at.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, there's two sides to every thing. One, the investors want the return. And they're like, if I bought in at 1.4 billion and your revenue goes down, that means my valuation, my shares went down. They're worth less. But at the same time, you got to be realistic with growth expectations, as well as, everybody aligned on what the end goal is.
Yeah.
If the end goal is a $2 billion valuation, how do I get there and when do I get there? And then what are the, lead and lag indicators to show that I'm on a successful strategy?
And then I think, to Steph's defense, Steph Corey, she's the CEO.
Okay.
Right? In her defense, this company went from nothing to like this massive,
Yeah, and this massive valuation.
massive juggernaut in under 4 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Right? Like, that's huge. I think if it were me, I think maybe the company outgrew her and she needed somebody to come in, but she also needed to have the self-awareness to say, okay, we're at a point where I cannot take this company any further, and then bow out.
Right.
That would have
Yeah.
been the smart thing to do versus, no, this is my baby. I'm going to drive it all the way into the fucking ground.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's different personalities, but it's true. Like, the person you need the leader you need to be when you're a startup to, 10 million in revenue
Yeah.
is not the same leader you need to be when you're, $50 million in revenue to 300 million in revenue. And, the delegation that needs to happen, and
The people management.
and the people you need to hire under you, those tribal leaders, there's and there's no chance anybody's equipped for that, right? To say that, okay, I was the, market, social media marketer
She was the operations.
I was the operations lead for Warby Parker, and it was already a big company that already had infrastructure. And then now I'm going to create all that myself, and I'm going to have this incredible rise in valuation as well as revenue and status, and then be able to, grow a company and learn at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like a recipe for disaster. So,
Right. And like, there's some people that are saying, oh, maybe she should have gone to executive leadership training. When?
yeah,
When did she
or
have time?
brought in like a part-time CEO to be a mentor for her and to
That
help
would have
out and
been
things like that.
more realistic.
But I think the problem is that imposter syndrome, right? Where
I hate that.
I'm sure,
phrase.
I mean, I know, but there's no better way to describe it.
Yeah.
I think you have all this success and you immediately are like, well, did I catch lightning in a bottle? And this shit will it continue like this? What do I need to get better at? Or what am I not doing? And then I really don't know what I'm doing. It just sort of happened. And, what if it doesn't happen? And what if people know that there's no magic recipe? And, what if, and then you start to say, okay, now if I bring in this more seasoned CEO, is he going to expose me that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing?
Yeah.
So obviously I don't want that. So I'm going to have to bucket that, and I'm going to have to sign. And then if there's these employees that are criticizing me, I need to know about it, because I got to be able to squash it so that they don't go to the board, and I got to be able to control it all, because this house of cards will fall if it gets exposed.
I blame
versus
the era. I blame the time in which this happened, because it also was huge on the rise.
What's that?
I'm going to be a girl boss.
Oh, Me Too?
Oh, no. Stop it. No, it was like the girl boss error.
Girl boss.
You're not on social media, so
I'm
you
not.
really don't understand.
I
but
don't.
There was a point in time.
Boss babe.
Exactly. Where everybody was like this boss bitch who could do everything and was expected to do it all, and could run the company, could have the family, could overwork, and so on and so forth. This era, that was huge during this time, right? So it was probably a little bit of that self-imposed pressure that I'm doing all of this. I said I could do this. It's hustle culture. I'm going to work myself to the bone. I expect all of you bitches to do the same. Right? Like, it was just.
Yeah. Recipe for, where they ended up. And I think it's some lessons. I mean, I think they're still chugging along today. The last I read about it before that was, I think they were trying to have some sort of acquisition in 23, 24.
Okay.
They were either going to go IPO.
I was going to say there were some talks about them going
IPO or exit, and they brought in some higher powered executives to try to get them over the hump.
Okay.
And now they're laying off more people. So I think there's another 20-25% staff cut, mostly at the back office executive level. So I think they're coming off of that and trying to get back to profitability. I think they're cash flow neutral, so they're trying to get to cash flow positive. But I mean, being private equity backed, they're gonna have to exit at some point.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. I think they're one of those companies probably caught in that middling, right? Where you had the rocket ship growth, you got valued at this tremendous valuation, and you don't want to be seen as having a down round at this point, but you're maybe not reaching the max potential that you thought. So you're trying to get back to what got us there and get back to, but what got you there is being that market disruptor, and you've already captured a large lion share of the market.
Yeah.
And you're not going to beat the Toomey. You're not going to beat those guys on the luxury side. Like people that buy Toomeys and buy Louis Vuitton and all these other luggage, they buy it for that name, not because they want value or they want the coolest product out there.
Which, can we talk about how Toomey is not as strong as they say they are? We've had multiple Toomey suitcases get beat to shit by TSA.
But they always replace it, which is good.
Okay, that's true.
So that's the positive.
I take it back.
They always replace. They'll replace the handles. They replace the dents.
They do, don't they?
They're
do. Not quick about it.
They stand behind their products, which I think is, if you're going to buy luggage, it's great.
Yeah.
But I think they captured their SOM is probably as big as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Maybe they can get into different places around the world where maybe Away is not as
in London.
I know maybe they're not as dominant in those as they may be in the US in this market segment.
Yeah.
Or they are, I just don't know what kind of R&D advancements you can make in luggage. Maybe.
There's not that many ways to make a difference.
I know, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll find it. So, I mean, I just don't know how much upside is still there. So they're trying to get back to what made them of being, maybe more nimble, smaller company feel, focus.
I'm not innovative enough to imagine anything other than what they have, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've got this. I love their products.
Yeah, I think the suitcase and the little bag, maybe they build better duffel bag stuff.
We
or
spent
attachments.
10 days in Hawaii.
Yeah,
their
I thought it was
little
great.
carry-on with their little duffel bag.
It worked fine.
Like, it was fantastic. And I have all of their like little travel kit products. Like, it's perfect, but I don't need any more.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we've had the same luggage now since Europe, I think, and we bought those for the Hawaii trip. But just So anyway, I think there's a lot of lessons from Away. One, watch what you do on social media, and then be careful of growing too fast, right? And getting these gigantic valuations. And I understand you want the big valuation so you can do a big raise.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel good because, hey, if I have 30%, if I have 10% of the company and we just got valued at 1.4 billion, now I am worth 140 million.
Yeah.
That's my 10% is worth 140 million.
Absolutely.
And it feels great, but maybe raising at a lower valuation would have been more prudent, because then you wouldn't have as much pressure for that continued growth and the continued revenue drive to get 2 billion, 2 and 3 billion in valuation. And I think that's, a lesson for founders is watch that valuation. I mean, understand it's always great to raise at the biggest valuation you want because it sounds fantastic, but the expectation management at that point, and once you have professional money involved in the company, they care less about investing for the future. Most care less about investing for the future because their time horizon, let's say if it's private equity, time horizon's 3 to 5 years mostly. So they want, how am I going to get the most exit I can in these 3 to 5 years? And it's not investing in some product launch 3 years from now, right?
1.4 billion dollar valuation. Like, that's, I can't imagine trying to grow into that, right? Like, that's what it is. They want you.
You have to grow into it.
You
Yeah.
have to grow into this.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think you got to understand.
You have to understand
what's
your
realistic.
market.
Yeah. What's your obtainable market? How are you going to go get it? And what's realistic? And I've seen a lot of pitch decks when people do their SOM and TAM, and they're like,
explain your acronyms.
Like there's service obtainable market, and be like, what we're going to be able to obtain from the marketplace is, let's say, the total addressable market is 2 billion. I'm just using it. $2 billion market space. We think our product and our service fit. We can obtain 10% of that market. Sounds small, right? Only 10% of the market.
Yeah.
That's 200 million in revenue.
Yeah.
All right. You're at zero revenue now, and you're going to get 200 million in revenue tomorrow. And that's what you want to be valued on. That's how big I can get. I could obtain that 10%. So That's a big fucking target. Like,
Yeah.
how are you going to get from 0 to 200 million?
You're not.
Maybe you will. I mean, there's a lot of rocket ships people that do it, but I think it'd be easier to say, hey, I'm going to raise. But that's the thing is, it's that balancing act is you want a big enough number that people go, hey, there's a lot of upside here. So if I invest on a $20 million valuation today, he says the obtainable market is 200 million. So I'm going to 10x revenue, which, if the multiples stay the same, I'll 10x my money.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. And then I think the other thing is to be confident. Most of the best leaders, I don't know if that's the right saying. A lot of people I know that have succeeded, let's say not entrepreneurs or some entrepreneurs, but some executives, the better executives, the ones that, last the longest and have the best success are the ones that are the most humble and the ones that are willing to listen to other people's ideas and willing to admit they don't know it all. And I think that that's the lesson too from her is like, if you're that CEO and you do have the lion by the tail and you're just getting swung along, less about your own ego and this is all because of me and my success versus maybe I do need to bring in that consultant or I do need to bring in that executive coach or that co-CEO or hire a great COO or someone that's going to help me achieve the goal that I want for the company.
Yeah.
Versus I need to maintain and control power and wield it from the position of authority so that no one can potentially undermine me or take away from me. And I think that that's that balancing act of understanding that about yourself, being able to bring somebody in to help push this thing forward, especially as you're growing that fast, because no one's ready for that.
When I was reading the Verge article, there was a lot of talk about how she wanted 100% of the customer service messages, phone calls, instant messages to be addressed. The phone calls immediately, instant messages immediately, emails within 4 hours. There were 6 people on the team.
Yeah, that's a great goal.
It's a fantastic goal, but
And that goal is achievable when you have your first 100,000 orders. But when you have millions of orders,
it was so unrealistic.
right? If you scale your customers 10x and you scale your workforce 1x, how do you expect that delta to maintain?
That's what I mean. Like the manpower just it was not physically there to do it. And
so you have the goal, great, but you don't berate people because you missed the goal.
Right, like she's canceling PTO. She's sending all of these Slack messages at 3 a.m. Why isn't anybody doing this? Are you going to be able to do this?
And I think maybe if she'd
maybe
had,
you go fucking do it.
or I mean, if she'd have had some coaching of look at the numbers, like how many complaints can one person handle within that SLA, and and then do the math. Okay, we have 10x more complaints than we had before, and we were barely able to do it then. We haven't increased our workforce. Then there's no way we can do that.
And what kills me
and the messaging of chastising is not the way. I've always believed you publicly praise and then you privately criticize.
Yeah.
So town halls and it's all about the greatness. Oh, this person did such an amazing job. Let's highlight this achievement. And then when you have something negative to say, you do that in a one-on-one, not in a public forum.
Are you trying to tell me something?
Yes, exactly. The compliment sandwich.
She brought in somebody to help her manage the team, right? The customer service. She brought in somebody. Last 6 months before they fired him.
Okay.
Because he was not managing the people the way she would.
Okay.
Which is exactly why she needed to bring him in.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and when he left, her team was really sad because they were saying that it's the first time we felt like somebody cared about us.
Yeah, and heard. And you had the buffer between.
Yes.
And that's another thing, like the Scaling Up book talks about, and other things when they interview these companies, the ones that are successful and then the ones that aren't successful, a lot of times what they find is the leader, the CEO of the company, if he is, let's say he's a marketing specialist, that's where he came up. He was a marketing specialist and became the CEO of the company. More oftentimes than not, it's the worst marketed company, right? That company's marketing is the worst.
Why?
because they don't delegate the marketing to someone who's focused on marketing.
Yes.
They are trying to be CEO and do the marketing and do everything all at once versus having someone who's and giving that autonomy and, giving that power and, accountability to that person to say, okay, you are in charge of marketing. I am not. I am the CEO. I'm in charge of the P&L. I'm in charge of investor relationship. I'm in charge of strategic goals and direction. You are in charge of marketing.
Yes.
And then I will manage you according to the KPIs associated with marketing.
Which apparently I learned that marketing and branding are two completely different things and should be managed by two completely different people.
Wow.
Did you realize that? Did you know that?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Marketing is one thing. Branding is another.
Yeah.
There's some
Overlap?
interwovenness.
Yeah.
But it should be managed by two separate people. Did not know that.
Yeah. I think if you're a large company, that makes a lot of sense. When you're in startup phase and you got 10 employees, you can't have a brand person and a marketing person.
True.
Right. So, and I think that's the things you realize as you scale. Like
Yeah.
those things are two different things, which, I mean, as you scale fast, a lot of times you get caught in that mindset of, no, Johnny's been doing brand and marketing since the beginning. Why do we need two people now? He's always done it.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize that, no, you got to change the hat that you have on about, what you see in the mirror.
Yeah. So I guess know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And
you have to grow and your management style has to grow as the company grows.
and if it can't, it's completely okay to bring somebody in.
Exactly.
Right? That's not a failure. You
Yeah.
grew this baby from zero
And remember,
to a
yeah.
huge juggernaut. Like, be proud of that.
Yeah. And focus on what it is you want to do.
Yeah.
Like for me, I don't personally, I found I don't like running or being a part of, running a very, very big company. It's not fun for me.
Yeah.
Right. That's not where I strive. That's not where I feel like my messages are the best. I like the mid-size. It's kind of where I feel. And it takes a while to learn that though. Like, and I think as a founder, figuring that out early on as to what it is you want and be honest with yourself. The worst lies are the ones you tell yourself. And I think that is true in business as in life.
Indeed. All right. We'll be back next week.
Thank you for tuning in to Married to the Startup. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast. Your support helps us reach more people and keeps the conversation going. If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, drop me a message. I love hearing from you guys. Until next time.
George, out.